Hi guys, my name's Eric. I'm a physiotherapist at SportsPhys. I specialize in sports rehabilitation and I work in a lot of other teams such as like with the NRL, with West Tigers, as well as teams in Canada. So I did some things with the NCAA as well. Today I'm going to run you through some exercises where we're going to work on some mobility and then going into our upper bodies and then our lower body as well as core. With our first exercise, we're gonna go into our warm-up, and it's gonna be a set of 5 exercises. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna do the inchworm, okay? So with the inchworm, we're gonna be doing 5 reps of these, where we're gonna make sure that we're gonna be stretching out our entire body, such as our legs, our hips, and our thoracic, so that's in our upper spine. We're gonna walk down, crawl down your legs, and then reaching out, and then going into a push-up position. And then from that, we're going to crawl back up, and then that's 1 rep. After that rep, we're gonna repeat that 5 times. Our next thing that we're gonna work on is a stretch called the world's greatest stretch. So with this stretch, you're gonna be stretching not only your hip, but also your front of your legs, the back of your legs, the mid-back as well, and a bit of your neck. With the world's greatest stretch, you're gonna get into the position as if you're crawling into the inchworm, and then you're gonna step forward with the right leg. You're gonna sweep under with your right arm through your left arm, and then you're gonna open up wide, which you're gonna feel a good stretch through that mid-back, as well as through the hip. You're gonna perform 5 reps of these on the right side, and then you're gonna switch over to the left side, and then do the exact same thing. The next thing we're gonna have, they're going to be called pogos. So with the pogos, after warming up your body, getting things stretched and moving dynamically and heating up the body, you wanna make sure that you have good elasticity. And it's basically like skipping on your toes. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna think of maintaining a good stiff body, and you're gonna be jumping up and down like you're skipping and pushing off your toes. And you're gonna do 10 reps, and then you're gonna rest, and then you're gonna do another 10. So you wanna think that you're landing quick and fast off the ground, so the contact time off the ground is very quick and you're not staying onto that ground for too long. The next exercise is called the A-skip. The A-skip is going to be a preparation for something you can use if you're going to do a run or a sprint, but it's also a good one just to warm up the body, get the blood flowing as well. So with the A-skip, you wanna make sure that you're in the running position, okay? We call it an A-frame. And then you're gonna be skipping and switching arms from side to side. You wanna make sure that the leg, when you're bringing that knee up, you're making sure that it's bent back, your foot is back, as well as your toes are pointed up as well. You're gonna do that and switch back and forth, and you're going to try to go for 8 to 10 reps on each side. All right, so with our next warm up, we're gonna do something called the 90-90 stretch, okay? So with this 90-90 stretch, you're going to be working again with your hip mobility, because we want to make sure that there's no injuries through your hip or your low back. So this is gonna help open up the hips, and you're gonna feel a good stretch through the inner part of your leg as well as the outer part of your leg. So when you perform the stretch, you're gonna get onto the ground and you're going to be in a 90-90 position. So you're trying to think that you're making 2 right angles with your legs. And in that position, you're gonna switch from left to right, and making sure that when you switch from left to right, that you're trying to control that movement nice and slowly. Once you switch positions, you're going to lean forward a little bit just to get a little bit of a stretch, and then you're gonna go back to the other side, and you're gonna do 5 to 6 reps on each side. So that concludes our warm-up, and after this warm-up, we're gonna go straight into our session. Hey guys, so getting into the session, we're gonna start off with push-ups. So with push-ups, we're gonna make sure that as you're pushing, you're gonna make sure that your chest is nice and up and your hips are up as well. I don't want to see any sagging hips. You're gonna make sure that your arms are coming out at a 45-degree angle, and we don't wanna flare out your arms. This does make the exercise a little bit harder, but it helps protect your shoulders. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 of those. Our next exercise is going to be the lat row. So what you're gonna need is most likely a chair. Most people have those chairs. You're gonna get that chair and you're gonna go slide just under it. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna grab onto the sides and you're gonna pull yourself up, hold that for about 1 to 2 seconds, and slowly lower yourself down. You're going to be performing 3 sets of 10 of these as well. If you can't reach 10, try for 8, even 6, and then take your time and then start to add on the extra reps when you feel ready. Your last exercise is a bear crawl, and that's also gonna be 3 sets of 8. In this bear crawl, you're gonna get into something called the bear stance. So what you have to do is you're gonna go on all fours, make sure your core is nice and tight, slowly lift up your knees and just hover that. You're going to move to the right, take 1 step there, and you're gonna do 8 steps one way, then 8 steps to the left, and then back to the center. Then you're gonna go 8 steps forward and 8 steps back. I'm gonna be demonstrating just one side or 1 step on each direction, just so you get a feel of how we're supposed to do that. And the whole time you're keeping your core nice and tight and your knees elevated. Now we're on to our first superset. Our first superset is gonna be core workout. So we're gonna add in something called plank taps and plank saws. So with the superset, you're gonna do 3 sets of them, and you're going to do 10 reps of each exercise. So with the plank taps, you're going to be holding a plank position, but on your hands, and you're gonna make sure that when you're holding that, you're again keeping your core nice and stable, your spine neutral, so that's nice and straight and flat. Then push with your arms. You're gonna take one arm and you're gonna touch the opposite shoulder, and you're gonna switch sides, left and right. You're gonna do 10 reps on each arm, so that would just count to 20 there. And then that would be your first exercise. Then you go directly into your plank saw, which then is again the plank position, but now on your elbows. And you're gonna rock forward and back as if you're a saw, like cutting a piece of wood. And you're gonna do 10 reps of that. Once you finish that, you're gonna go back to the beginning and you're gonna do 3 rounds of that. The next superset is also another core exercise, and we're gonna work on getting a little bit of your deeper core, okay? We call that your transverse abdominis. You wanna make sure that that's strong because it helps with stabilizing your low back, and when you're lifting, like doing squats and things like that, that keeps nice and stable so you don't get any back injuries. So you have your first exercise. Again, this is gonna be 3 sets of them. You're gonna do a 20-second hold of this dead bug in one position, then you're gonna switch positions, and then 20 seconds again. So to get into the dead bug position, you're gonna lay on your back. You wanna make sure that it's nice and flat. So you're gonna be pushing into the ground with your low back. You're gonna have your arms up and your knees up, and then slowly extend that left leg out, and then hold without arching your low back for 20 seconds. Bring that leg back in, and you're gonna switch to your right, and again hold for 20 seconds. But that whole time, remember that you're not gonna lift off that low back off from the ground, because then you're gonna start using your hip flexors. And then that's when you start to feel tight through your low back actually, and even in your hip rather than into your core. So after holding that for 20 seconds, you're gonna go into your side plank. And everyone's seen a side plank, so you're gonna go onto your side there, have your arm nice and stable. What I like to do is actually make a nice strong fist, because that helps to stabilize the shoulder that you're on. You're gonna bring your other arm up and extend that up, and you're gonna hold that for 20 seconds, keeping your hips nice and aligned. After 20 seconds, switching to the other side, and then you're going to perform those 2 exercises 3 times. And that concludes our strength session for our upper body and core. And then now we're gonna go into our cool down. In our cool down, we're gonna start off with a hip flexor stretch. So you wanna make sure we're gonna stretch the whole body. So we're starting off with a hip flexor stretch. Go onto your knee and then one leg forward. You're going to make sure that your low back isn't overarched. So you wanna make sure you tuck your hips under and then slide your hips forward. Hold that stretch for 30 seconds minimum, and then you're gonna do the same thing on your other side. You can do that twice on each side, so it adds up to about a minute per side. The next one is called the pigeon stretch, and that's gonna be stretching through your hips. And that's, again, if you get any tightness through your low back, this stretch is actually really good to free up your low back as well as your hip. So this, you go into a position where you're in all fours, then you're gonna take the one leg and put it in front of the other and stretch that other leg as far back as you can. And then you're gonna try to sit back. You're gonna feel a really good stretch through your hip and your glute, which then will help to stretch out your low back. Again, you're gonna hold for 30 seconds, and you're gonna do that on both sides and twice as well. The next one, because we worked on a lot of our shoulders, you wanna make sure that you were stretching out our shoulders. So the next one's called the shoulder stretch, pretty straightforward. So you're gonna be pulling your arm across your body, and then again, just holding for 30 seconds, and then you're gonna do that on both sides twice. And then the last one is called a thoracic chair stretch. So again, since we've been holding the exercise with our upper body quite a bit, you wanna make sure that we stretch our mid back. So then you grab onto this chair, and you're going to try to poke your head through your arms, and push your hips back, and you're gonna feel a big stretch through your underarm, your chest, your stomach, as well as your mid-back. And you're gonna hold that. I'd pulse for about 5 to 6 seconds, but you do that 5 to 6 times as well. And then that's our cool down. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you guys had a really good workout and you guys are staying healthy and safe out there. Make sure you guys wear your mask and follow the rules. All right, guys, have a good day.